Hello, everybody, and welcome back to The Good Inn, a place where we like to look at the good in all movies. My name's Noah King, and today we're going to be talking about the latest addition into the new DCU universe, Supergirl. So, let's take a look at the good in it. Alright, so Supergirl starts off with an introduction to Kara, another Kryptonian, Superman's cousin, right? Her and Krypto made it off of Krypton before it was destroyed. We see her kind of just coming to terms with all that, kind of just staying drunk, kind of drowning her sorrows, right? Then you got these villains. I believe his name is Krem of the Yellow Hills or something like that. The Baxtons. They're kind of just space pirates, right? They're powerful guys, strong guys. Looks like they have some powers, and they're kind of going around just collecting young women as brides, they say. You have a young girl named Ruthie, whose father was a blacksmith. He makes some of the most powerful or strongest swords in the galaxy. And this Krem, the leader of these space pirates, tracks them down, kills this young Ruthie's family in front of her, leaves her alive. She kind of goes on a revenge tour, right? She's trying to find him, kill him for her family. She gets the help from Kara to stop them, to find them, and get her revenge. All while Krypto was poisoned by Krem, and Kara's also trying to save him. For the most part, that's kind of your basic plot. But was there any good in it? Sure was. There was a good amount of good in it, man. I really liked it. I had a great time. I thought it was a great movie. I've already seen the reviews. I mean, people are not holding back here, right? I don't know if all this hate's warranted, man. We'll go right in here, all right? Right into some of this good. One of the first things I saw immediately was the alien life throughout this movie was really cool. Different, we've seen a lot of movies like this in space and all this, so it's hard to kind of still, put something on the screen we've never seen before, and I think they did a good job at that. I think it showed all kinds of different aliens who spoke different languages, and some Kara could understand, some Kara could speak, and some she needed a translator. That's cool, right? I mean, there's a ton of different aliens in this, different languages, different cultures, different just looks to them. That was cool. That was really cool to see. Another part I liked was Krypton. Seeing Krypton there. The home planet of her and Superman. I thought that was really cool. I really liked Krypton and all it showed in Man of Steel. This was completely different. It looked different. It felt different. And I think in the best ways. I think it was really cool. I think it was a Krypton we haven't seen before. It was kind of just a modern big city, right? There were cool skyscrapers and everything. I thought Krypton itself was really cool. Kind of in that same vibe there, same thing with Krypton. I liked, with Kara, with Supergirl, her story, part of her story is she wasn't sent away as a baby like Superman was. She lived a good amount of her life there, right? I don't know how old she is, but she probably spent around 20 years or so there and knew these people, knew this planet, knew her family, knew her kind, and watched it fall apart, right? Watched it. They were slowly getting poisoned by the kryptonite that was left behind by Krypton's destruction, and they were just living in a little dome there, but all slowly were starting to get poisoned with this radiation from the kryptonite and sent her away. Well, because of that, she's not like Superman, whereas, Superman sees Earth as his home. He sees Ma and Pa Kent as his parents, where Kara knew her home, knew her people, knew her parents, and lost it all, right? And so that is cool to see. But then it also is just cool to see that emotional scene. Her getting flown out of there. Her dad sending her away after her mom's death, saying, she wants to stay behind Kara because she's like, I'm one life, right? If all of Krypton's going down, why don't I go down too? I'm just one life. And he's like, no, you're not. you're your mother and me, and we're trying to stay alive through you. You're not just one life. I just thought that was cool. I thought that was a cool way to make that emotional, to make that feel real, and then that directly goes into why she is the way she is now, right? Why is she just a drunk, right? I remember saying she's kind of in the same vibes of like a Hancock hero. If you've seen that movie with Will Smith, like she's closer to that than a Superman, right? She's not a hopeful and truth, justice, and the American way kind of hero. She is more of a reluctant hero, more of kind of just a drunk, right? Down in the dumps. But why? Well, because of that, right? It's not just to be cool, to be a superhero who drinks, right? No, they make it make sense there. They make it all work by, like I said, just her kind of suffering the loss of all her people. So a good thing here, good character in here, was Lobo. I am a Lobo fan. I really like Lobo, right? I've seen him in some comics, some games. He's always cool. He's always cool to see. He's always funny. Great character. Now, similar to if you've seen my Masters of the Universe episode with Jared Leto as Skeletor, I'm not the biggest Jason Momoa fan. I'm really not. And I think mostly because almost anything I've seen him in, he kind of just is playing Jason Momoa, right? I think he's just kind of one of those actors, and that's just me. That's just my opinion. He's not my favorite. And I think even in this Lobo part, he's still kind of playing Jason Momoa. Now, all this being said, I remember when he was Aquaman and people were fan casting him, right? They'd show like pictures side by side of Jason Momoa and Lobo, and everyone's saying like, dude, this guy was born to play this role. I could see it. I agreed even back then. I was like, I'm not the biggest fan of him, but he would be a good Lobo, right? He just plays himself. Well, he's kind of like a Lobo, he's just a goober, right? He's just a comic relief. That worked for me. Even I'm not the biggest Jason Momoa fan, but I was hyped when I found out they were doing this, when he was being brought back into the DCU from Aquaman. They were, when they scrapped the DCEU, they bring him into the DCU, right? I know, a little confusing, I guess, for some out there probably, but they bring him back and announce he's Lobo, and I knew then, I was like, okay, this is going to be pretty cool, right? This is going to be pretty good. And I did like Lobo a lot. I did. I wish we saw him a little more. I wish he did a little more. He had some cool scenes. He had some cool fight scenes, but if you were to take that character completely out of this movie, nothing would have changed, right? He wasn't a big monumental piece of this story. And, he doesn't need to be, but I wish we saw a little more of him, right? I know there's some talks of possibly giving him his own movie, and some people think that this was kind of like testing the waters out a little bit. Look, my personal opinion on that is I think it worked. I liked it a lot. I would not give him his own movie. I think this is where like his strong suit is. Lobo, even as a character, I think is a great like supporting character. I think he would be great on the side. I don't know if he needs his full movie. I don't know how that would work, right? I think what they did was very good. This is like the perfect use of that character. I definitely want to see him again. I really want to see him again. And, if they make his own movie, I'm going to see it. I'm sure I'm going to like it. That's just my opinion. My opinion is I would use him like they did here because it was very good. I liked, there were a couple scenes that just really felt like Lobo to me. There was a scene from the trailer where he says something like, oh, aren't you the ditz from the dive bar? But the context there, everything around them is chaotic. There's a huge fight going on, and dude's just laying on the ground, smoking a cigar, kind of piecing it together. Like, that seems like Lobo to me. I also really liked the part there in this same scene with this fight where he's laying on the ground, smoking a cigar. Him and Supergirl, they're not really working together. They're there for different reasons. And Lobo he's a bounty hunter. He's after these space pirates, right? So he's taking them all down. But they're like, these brides that they've captured are loose and running around. And the pirates, the bad guys, are picking them up. Well, Lobo's taking these guys out, which is kind of putting the brides in harm's way. So Supergirl's flying around, taking a couple bad guys out, but mostly saving the girls. So you got Lobo, killing or capturing these pirates, and then you got Supergirl going around saving the girls then. And it just worked for me. I thought it was really cool. Just them together, thought that was awesome. All right, this Ruthie character I'll talk about here. She's like I said, little girl whose family, her brother, her mom, and dad were all killed by this Krem in front of her, which kind of sends her on this journey then, tracking down this Krem guy. I've already seen some people don't like her. Some people don't like this. They think it's kind of just your average, like, little, I don't even know, like a girl boss type thing. No, not at all. I really liked this character. And I was a little worried because these guys, this Krem and these Baxtons, or whatever, I've been referring to them as space pirates, so I'll just continue to refer to them as that. But I was worried that, she's got this cool sword from her dad, and I was worried because of this, like, she's gonna go out there and be fighting these guys, and that, I would have been like, dude, how is this little girl beating these guys with, like, almost Superman level powers, right? Almost Kryptonian level powers, almost, and obviously trained fighters, obviously dangerous, scary dudes. Like, how is she gonna defeat them? Well, she didn't. She never really did, right? She outsmarted some. I know she escaped from this jail cell by kind of taking down this one guy. That's pushing it a little bit. She, like, jumps on his back and is, like, choking him with her, like, handcuffs or whatever. And sure, I get it. That could be pushing it, but I don't know, man. It didn't take me out of it at all. To me, it wasn't like this little girl who's just now all of a sudden a crazy fighter and all powerful and can take these guys down. She didn't. She was just fearless. And that I'm okay with, man. She wasn't, because her family died, didn't make her a skilled fighter. It just made her not afraid of these guys. I don't care, right? I my need for revenge is stronger than any sort of fear I will feel, and that I'm okay with, man. I'm great with that. If she picked up the sword and is just He-Man, I'm gonna have an issue with that, but she wasn't. She was still a believable little girl who, just wanted to do what she could. Also, just like her and Kara, I think that worked well together. Kara sees a lot of herself in this girl, right? She has a lot of hatred in her heart just from where she came from and what she's been through, and she knows this little girl kind of just needs her. She needs somebody. She's alone now. She's got her heart slowly hardening, and Kara doesn't want that for her, right? That's really cool to see. I thought a lot of I actually think every single fight scene in here was really cool. I really do. I've seen a lot of people say how it's just kind of a cookie cutter fight scene, right? Your stereotypical superhero fight scene. I don't think so at all. I think they, once again, and this is hard to do, man. This is hard to do in 2026 when there's almost, if not more than 30 Marvel movies, and we've already had a DC universe that's, come and gone. Like, we've had so many superhero movies, so many superhero fight scenes, and the fact that if you can still kind of, bring something new, that's great. And I think they did. I think she fought different than Superman and within still the same vibes. And that's exactly what I was looking for. I think all the fight scenes were cool. I think the final fight scene there, it was all kind of in slow-mo, and it's kind of just showing Ruthie, like, looking around at everything going on, and watching Kara just take all these guys out. I think that was really cool. I think all the fight scenes in here were really cool to see. Like I said, it wasn't, she didn't fight just like Superman, but she fought like a Kryptonian. She fought in her own kind of ways. I really liked that. Another just small thing I really liked was the suit, the super suit, the Supergirl suit. I thought looked awesome. I think David Cornsweat's Superman suit looks awesome. And I will say, I was one of those people when they first kind of released, like, that first look at David Cornsweat's Superman suit. I was like, ooh, what are we doing here? It looked a little too baggy, looked a little too much for me. I wasn't the biggest fan when I first saw it. And then, I see the comments of people saying, like, dude, you gotta wait till they're, post-production, they're gonna fix stuff up. So I gave it a shot. I saw it and I was like, okay, I'm sold, right? I was someone who was questionable about it. Then once I saw it, I was like, man, that's a cool suit. That's a really, really cool suit. And I think same with hers. I really thought it was, somehow it looked just like Supergirl from David Cornsweat's, universe. David Cornsweat gave her the suit, and it just made sense. It looked like his in the best ways and different from his in the best ways. I have no notes on the suit. I couldn't make that suit look any better if I had to. I mean, I thought it was great. I thought it was perfect. I once again with the S. That was another thing. They released a logo for David's Superman, and I was not the biggest fan of that S symbol on his chest. See it in the movie, I'm like, awesome. I do like it. Same thing here. I like it all. Like I said, I have no negative points about the suit whatsoever. I thought it looked awesome. While kind of talking about the man, Supes, we see him a good amount in here, which is awesome. I thought they kind of released that one scene where he sees Kara come to Earth, like she lands there right by his Fortress of Solitude. That not opening scene. I assumed that was the opening scene, but it is not. It's kind of just sprinkled throughout, right? She has a lot of flashbacks that are sprinkled throughout. I thought that scene was probably going to be the only time we see Superman. I knew he was going to be in here, and then they released that scene, and I was like, okay, that's probably, one and done. No, and look, he wasn't in here a lot, which, I almost said, I wish we saw more of him. No, I do not. Look, as much as that would be cool, it's not a Superman movie, right? And it's in kind of like I was saying with the Mandalorian and Grogu thing, like, that's a Star Wars movie, sure, but you can't rely on the cameos. You can't rely on the callbacks. Like, it's got to be Mandalorian and Grogu. I mean, they got to do it. They got to hold their own story here. Same thing. I mean, you can't, look, we know Superman, David Cornsweet Superman works. We already know that. He can't come in here and save this movie. It's got to be a Supergirl movie. And I think it was. I think the amount we saw Superman was perfect because it was more than I originally thought we would get while still just being a Supergirl movie. It was nothing more than just him showing up, saying, hey, calling her. He called her a lot, hey, how are you doing? I know it's your birthday. Like, I miss you. Wish you'd come back to Earth. Really cool. I thought anytime we saw him was awesome. I also remember saying to my fiance while watching this, I said, man, I forgot until seeing him again how much I love him as Superman. I mean, what a good Superman. And I'll say, with that too, look, I'm man enough to admit when I'm wrong, right? I remember when they announced David Cornsweet was going to be the new Superman, I was like, what are we doing? And I don't know why, but I was not happy. I don't know if it was his look or what. I don't know. I don't even remember anymore. But I do know I was on the boat of, no, that's not my Superman. Well, then as we got closer and closer to the movie releasing Superman, I was like, okay, it's looking a little better and better. Then I watched the movie and it completely shut me up. I was wrong. Dude's a great Superman. Great Superman. And just seeing him in this just reiterated that more for me. That's all I really got here. That is not because that's all the good that was in here. Not at all. No, it was a very, very good movie. And, look, there are a couple things, sure. Look, it's not perfect. No movie's perfect, like I've said. One thing people are saying is it's James Gunn, right? It's from James Gunn's new DCU universe, right? And he directed all 3 of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. People do think this is a little Guardian-fied, right? Guardians-fied. Like, they give some Guardians vibes, for sure. Guardians of the Galaxy. But, not too much, right? It is there. It is sprinkled throughout there, sure. But at the same time, I mean, it's a space adventure where we're bouncing around different planets and different bars and stuff throughout space. Like, I mean, there's kind of only so much you can do there. I've heard this movie was gonna be very woke, very negative towards men. Not at all. I don't know where that's coming from. I don't know where people are hearing this from at all. If it's geared a little more towards women, who cares, dude? It's awesome. It was great. I watched it and had a blast. I thought it was so cool. And, dude, I mean, it's just Supergirl. I mean, come on. What do you expect here? I thought it was great. I don't think it was too much. I don't think it was in your face about the girl power, boss. No, dude, she's Supergirl, man. She is a girl boss. Like, it worked. It was great. I don't know where all these comments are coming from. They gotta be from people who haven't seen the movie yet or something, man. I mean, it's just ridiculous that people are already jumping on this thing, already hating this thing. It was great. It was so much fun. It felt like Supergirl. It felt like we were in space. It felt like an intergalactic adventure. It was awesome. It was so cool. One more note here, I guess. I just remember thinking is I do like how it ended with the creme villain, where Supergirl stopped Ruthie from killing him, saying, kind of your classic, like, it's not going to make you feel better. It's not going to bring your family back. You're going to carry that guy with you for the rest of your life then if you kill him. Like, Ruthie kind of knows she's right. She, like, drops her sword. Kara's like, okay, now leave before you change your mind. And so at first I'm like, dude, come on. Like, this guy, he needs to die. He's a bad guy. He's a really bad guy. I mean, there were a couple scenes in here I couldn't believe they showed. There was a certain scene where he killed another family, including a young girl, in a bad way, and I was like, whoa. Like, you don't see that a lot. This is a bad dude, and he needs to die. He does. Like, so at first I was worried, like, dude, are we really going to let this guy go, for the sake of being better? No, Supergirl lets Ruthie go. You don't need this on your conscience. You don't need this on your heart. Me, on the other hand, I'm already dealing with stuff. I can take him out, and she does it in a cool way, in a way that just pays off well. So I was happy to see that. That was cool. I guess let's go right into the good scale, right? Where does it rank on the good scale? All right. This was hard for me. This was really hard. A lot of these were very difficult for me to figure out how to grade, and we can go into why. But I guess starting off with genre, how does it sit as a superhero movie? I went 4, right? And that was one I kind of struggle with because it's not your average superhero movie, right? Like I said, it's kind of more under the vibes of like Hancock, right? It's not a super hopeful kind of Superman film, so I wasn't sure where to go with that, but that is Supergirl, right? It did Supergirl very well, so it gets a 4 there for me. Originality. This one I really struggled with. I did not know where to put this because, like I've said, if you've seen my other videos, if you've seen how I rank these things, usually a superhero movie or a Star Wars movie, something like that, it's going to get a couple points knocked down because it's not a new thing, right? We've seen it all the time. Supergirl, haven't seen a lot of Supergirl. Never, as far as I know, we don't have a full-length Supergirl, movie. Like, so that was pretty original, right? But it also, it got a couple points docked just for, like I said, there were some kind of Guardians of the Galaxy vibes, sure. The overall story too, I think we've kind of seen it, right? It's kind of your classic reluctant hero story where, no, I can't help you. You don't want my help, and then one thing after the other happens. So then they're kind of forced into helping, and, then it's for the good, like helps this little girl on her like revenge path. I feel like we've kind of seen it before. So it gets a 3 right there. I mean, sort of in the middle, a little higher than the middle. Like, I do think that was hard. It was hard for me to take that down to a 3 from a 4, just because, like I said, we haven't seen a whole lot of Supergirl, and, as far as I'm concerned, they did this very well. But, there were a couple elements that I feel like we've seen or felt before, so gets a 3. Overall enjoyment, 4. Pretty self-explanatory. I mean, I just really liked it. I really did. That score could maybe even be a little higher because I don't really have anything else to add. I don't really have any negatives there, but we'll stick with a 4. Delivery also gets a 4 for me. So, one thing that both me and my fiance said was I knew around what time this movie would end. And I remember like checking my phone going like, oh my gosh, like it's almost over, like crazy. Dude, this movie felt like 30 minutes to me. I mean, it felt like I sat down, it got started, and half an hour later, the end credits are rolling. And that's great. That's a good thing. Dude, I was never bored a single time. I was in the story. It all made sense. It all flowed so good, so well. I mean, seriously, I'm so serious. Like, it felt like I was in there for half an hour. It did not feel like a 2-hour movie. And like I mean, that means that you took a 2-hour movie, and there was not a single time where I was, I was like, dang, man, how much more is this? Checking my phone, how much longer we got? Like, not a single thing in here brought me out of it. Not a single part of this. I was bored. Like I said, man, I mean, it really felt like I was in there for like half an hour. And it's sitting in the theaters. And I think that's impressive. I mean, I think that means everything just worked well. I think it was great. So delivery there gets a 4 for me too. That brings Supergirl to a score of 3.75 out of 4. And I'm pretty happy with that, right? It was almost a 4, and that's just right under it. I don't know. I think that's a pretty good, fair score for this movie. I thought it was really good. I thought they did everything really well. They balanced things really well. It was just good. I thought they told a cool story. They did it good. They introduced some new characters. Yeah, I thought it was cool. I thought it was great. Look, that's the second movie now put into this new DCU universe. And I will say, I don't know if it was the best idea to start there to have Superman and then Supergirl. Some people said maybe we should have done some. Look, I do believe I am one that's like, if you're trying to build a new universe, maybe let's not do so many random people, right? And I also get you don't want to just necessarily get the big three like Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman right off the gate. That's kind of what they started with in the past DCEU. But at the same time, man, it was kind of time, right? Like I said, we haven't seen a Supergirl movie. They did Superman, and it clearly worked. So why not try this? And I thought it did good. I liked this Supergirl. I'm excited to see her again. I know she's going to be in the second Superman movie, and I'm hyped. I can't wait. I can't wait to see her again. I can't wait to see David Cornsweet Superman again. I can't wait to see Lobo again, man. I mean, like I said, I really think they balanced a lot of things well here, and oh man, it's getting hate. Well, surprise, surprise, man. What doesn't nowadays, right? Every single movie I've covered so far here, somebody's got something to say. Whether it's a new movie Monday, Throwback Thursday, all these movies okay. Every single movie I have reviewed, I can say, is more hated than it deserves. And I have a couple movies on here that are not good. I have a couple movies that I've reviewed that I don't like. Still doesn't deserve all the hate that it gets. Once again, there is good in every single movie. And I guarantee if we spent more time picking apart the good, man, we'd all probably be happier. We'd all enjoy movies more. We'd all be in the theater seeing these things more. I mean, it'd be a win-win for everybody, right? I really think we got to start focusing more on the good than the bad because, look, I mean, whatever you focus on, that's what you're going to find, right? I mean, you want to pick out all the bad? Well, I mean, you can probably get a long list of bad from this movie, but I would argue that you can get a longer list of good, right? So, as always, that's just my opinion. That's just what I thought about this movie. I thought it was really good. I'm excited to see what's next. I'm so glad I saw it, and I will be watching it again. So it was cool. It was awesome. It was what I was looking for. It was Supergirl, man. So, yeah. I think that's all I got. So, I'll see you Thursday for Throwback Thursday. As the usual. I don't know what it'll be, so let me know. Tell me in the comments, and we'll get something out there for you guys. But till then, Christ is King. God bless. Have a good one.